Enduro-Fahren war schon immer meine große Passion, aber auch das ideale Ausgleichstraining. Als ich den Weltcup-Zirkus verlassen hatte, verbrachte ich jede freie Minute in der Wildnis Rumäniens. Tausende Liter Benzin flossen in meinen Tank, bald kannte ich jeden Pfad und Berg. In den Wäldern Rumäniens wurde die Idee geboren, ein Langstrecken-Enduro-Rennen zu veranstalten. Damals wusste ich noch nicht, dass daraus die härteste Enduro-Rallye der Welt wird. Yeah! After the prologue, there will be a 56 kilometer liaison. When the start, we'll go into the terrain. First into a riverbed of the Provica River. In over 2,000 working hours, 10 track managers have been marking the racetrack. 70 communities gave the permission to ride on their terrain. 9 rescue cars, 1 rescue helicopter, and over 100 people that are helping us make it possible to have a safe Red Bull Romaniacs racetrack over 1,500 kilometers.
The third edition of the Red Bull Romaniacs has started with the prologue in Bucharest, the capital of Romania. Ex-dictator Ceausescu intended to build a pompous opera house on the 25 acres large area. The Red Bull Romaniacs crews transformed these ruins into a demanding contest prologue. All 4 classes have to complete as many rounds as possible within 15 minutes each. The place in the prologue shall determine the following starting grid for the off-road terrain race to Sinaia. All the artificial obstacles, the Erz's step-up jump, the Austrian airline Flatlander, the Red Bull Romaniacs Cube are so difficult that there's a chicken line letting competitors miss these obstacles, but it will take them longer. The Romanian population is very enthusiastic about motorsports, and just like the frenetic audience at the prologue, the farmers out in the country wave and are friendly to the dashing enduro racers. The stairs have to be mastered upwards only by professionals and experts. ATV, all-terrain vehicles and hobby racers shall overcome this obstacle only downwards. This obstacle causes problems to so many racers because there are only 1.5 meters available for the in-run. And if there's an overturned racer in the way, then keeping the chosen line becomes even more difficult. The swinging suspension bridge may be crossed at a great speed, although when following closely another racer and with the bridge already oscillating, one's nerves should be made of the same steel as the suspension cables of the bridge. There are for the first time four-wheel vehicles at the start of the Red Bull Romaniacs. The fact that the four-wheel driven ATV, accustomed to climbing, are more suited for this race than the faster but only rear-wheel driven quads has been seen during the prologue. Both the audience and the racers have a lot of fun. Although nothing more than pride and the starting grid is at stake, the racers fight hard, and last year's winner Cyril Depré managed to finish first in front of his friend and Dakar waterboy Michel Gau and Darryl Curtis of South Africa. The competitors leave Bucharest, the city of 2 million inhabitants, escorted by a police convoy 60 kilometers to the off-road start, then into the never-ending woods at the foothills of the Carpathians towards Sinaia. The racers encounter the first difficulties in the form of more than 50 centimeter deep swamp crossings just 2 kilometers after the start. Some of the racers test the depth of the water by foot, others push their motorcycles through, however most of them rely on their luck or the common sense of the organizer, hoping that the wet crossings are manageable. In between these mud pools, the route is set on fast cart roads into the riverbed of the Provița River. During their entry into this river, some of the motorcycles and quads have sucked in water, and consequently the short time remaining before nightfall began to shorten even more for these luckless racers. As observed, the racers cast long shadows as soon as 1 hour after the start. For some, this means 75 kilometers of demanding terrain to be driven in the dark. The Desert Quad Team Potmus is at this point already more than 2 hours behind schedule and shall surely remember for the future to address the matter very carefully when confronted with still and cloudy waters. The particularity of this race is the fact that the full length of the 1,300 kilometers long course is marked. Up to 7,000 markers have been installed along the entire route by the 12 track managers and their helpers during months of work. As a navigation aid, each participant has to carry a GPS.
sehr lustig, aber wir sind nicht endlich gekommen. Nach 5 Minuten haben wir schon so ein Motorrad so versenkt gehabt, dass es aus war. Und dann haben wir ein bisschen gebraucht, um das Auto wieder rauszubringen. Wir waren mit Fische im Motor drinnen, aber es war kein Problem. Nach 20 Minuten waren wir wieder Start gegangen und dann ist es weitergegangen. Aber da haben wir ein bisschen Zeit verloren.
Wunderbar. Und jetzt waren wir am letzten Tropfen, weil sie keinen Sprit mehr gehabt hat. Und ja, aber es ist noch ausgegangen, es war super und gerade richtig, oder?
Genau.
Hat passt.
Vollkommen perfekt. Genau.
All those racers who have reached the first day's finish in daylight should deem themselves lucky.
Man, we've done about 700 k's extra today. I've lost him about 3 times. Many rocks.
How was the ride today?
The ride was cool. We just got lost a lot of times, but we're having some fun.
700 kilometers too much?
No, no way. We are up for it. Team Dirt, bike, rider, no fear, we are up for it. We just got to keep our little babies running. We've got a lot of love for our little babies. And Romania rocks. Thank you.
Yeah, we did. All the quads were there just floating in it.
This time, the time cards to be stamped at each checkpoint have been sealed in transparent plastic because of the fact that the probability of the racers going for a swim, together with all their equipment, is considerably high. The stage winner of the expert class, François Villiers, the Frenchman living in Timișoara, and his Romanian partner Romeo Danca are obviously delighted with their achievement. Equally satisfied is the day's winner in the professional class, Cyril Depré.
First day and you're already on the lead.
Again, was a hard day. I was expecting an easy one, but it was not so easy. And we were, Martin was saying it's 85 kilometers, and it's wrong. It's not 85. It's at least 120 or something like this. But you know, he's cheating always. But he's a bit too much sometimes.
But it runs good for you. I mean, it's.
I don't know. I run without GPS, more or less half the spatial, and start again, put again.
The start takes place early in the morning at 7 o'clock. Torrential rain fell in sheets with 1 hour remaining before the start, creating a physical workout for professionals and experts. In the hobby class, here's Liz Millett from Great Britain, together with her partner Tina Meyer from Germany as the only ladies team. The hobby start begins 30 kilometers outside Sinaia. The hobby racers track is considerably easier and is intended for experienced aging enduro racers and young and powerful newcomers, the opportunity to breathe some real enduro air. But even the seemingly safer route conceals some pitfalls. That's what a professional already knows. A hobby racer shall learn by involuntarily going for a morning bath and time-consuming engine and carburetor dewatering. At the outer side of the bend of a river, the water is usually a great deal deeper. Now it is time to pull the vehicle out, let the water out of the exhaust, drain the carburetor flow chamber and make a precautious attempt to start the engine. If it does not start, the only alternative is to pull out the spark plug and squeeze the air filter. Should the engine start to function again, it is recommendable to examine the oil. If the oil has a milky aspect and is considerably more viscous, then the water has already infiltrated. An oil change should be carried out as soon as possible. During the daily 15 minutes compulsory stop at the service point would be the perfect opportunity to do so. The first professional racer to reach the river crossings at Darryl was the Dakar star Cyril Desprez, closely followed by Michel Gau, aided by his past trial experience on steep and slippery climbings. Like Cyril, he used to compete in trials in his youth. Count Dracula, who ruled during the 15th century in Transylvania, who, because of his bloodthirstiness and Bram Stoker's novel, has become arguably the best-known Romanian. The Red Bull Romaniacs racecourse goes alongside his castle in Bran near Brașov, the country capital. So be warned, you are entering Dracula's territory here. Beware of girls with sharp teeth. They might be vampires. Tourism flourishes here in Bran. Hotels and boarding houses pop out of the ground, and at each corner creepy souvenirs are being offered. Even though the racers find themselves here within a neutralized area, they have a generous 20 minutes to cross this populous territory at a slow speed, but no time left for souvenir shopping. It is already almost 11 o'clock when the first racers arrive, almost 2 hours later than expected. The very muddy section within the first 50 kilometers have taken a lot of time, and there's still 220 kilometers to go to Sibiu. The stream crossing has in this case the positive side effect of washing off the hardest mud from the boots and the motorcycle. The leading hobby team Enduro Romania 1 arrives, in spite of the considerably shorter route, only after the first professionals and experts at Dracula's castle.
Look, this now it's stopped and sometimes not, but I don't know why. Because there's no water and...
Yes, everything is okay until now because today the GPS working. I understand the philosophy of the race, so now come better. For sure, in the beginning this morning with the rain was very difficult, the uphill, and so it pushed a lot. After with the South African rider, we are in contact, and after I leave and I'm here. I think it's okay, the weather is nice. I'm quite tired, but not so much.
That's where I go with the trailer. It's our street. The rescue helicopter always flies near the main pack to be able to be immediately on the spot in case of an accident. This steep and stony section would be hardly negotiable without the competent help from local enduro racers. Only he who manages to control the motorcycle the way Michel Gau and his followers Giovanni Sala do is able to save here a lot of energy.
Sorry.
Pictured here is the currently leading expert team KTM Romania. As the professionals were trying to manage an extreme climbing, the experts bypassed this section, although this here doesn't look really easy either.
Okay, fuck.
In order to be able to negotiate the great distance to Sibiu within the maximum time allowed of 12 hours, there are some stages where the top gears may be fully used. But do not rejoice too quickly. The bypass of a military training area proves to be again a massive mud bath. Even without the rain, this area at the foot of the Erzberg Mountains is always wet, but now, after the rainfall, all puddles are full. And when the muddy area ends, there comes another cleansing river crossing. Sections pro riders just pass often mean hard work for pilots of the expert class. Darryl, an Icelander enduro rider, is on the track to support the camera crew and assist them through the tough sections.
We're waiting for a technical section. I think we're going to do some more climbing now. Up until now it's been a good workout, and the terrain in Romania is a beautiful country and the forests are spectacular. Very good.
The leading KTM Romania team leave the last checkpoint for the last 50 kilometers till the stage destination. Why do experts and hobby riders have to start as a team? The answer is obvious: safety. On the Red Bull Romaniacs Enduro Rallye, you mostly drive far from any civilization. Problems are just solved easier if you are not on your own 100 kilometers down in the endless woods and wild mountains. Technical problems or even an accident can threaten your life if all alone in the wilderness. Some pro riders sometimes also build temporary teams to manage the trickiest sections. Only the leading riders try to lose those following them.
How far to Sibiu?
30 kilometers.
30.
So you can have a tourist trip to Sibiu.
The South African Curtis and van Niekerk, as well as Alex Antor from Andorra, are reaching the day's finish.
Interesting day today. This morning after the rain last night there was a climb early in the morning, and a very, very difficult climb. And Riaan and myself teamed up and we pretty much rode the day together today. Another place, Dracula's Castle, also very difficult, and but we helped each other through, and it was okay.
From Sibiu, the cultural capital of Europe, 2007. The start will be early in the morning, going up some steep trails and slippery trails. There are two very special trails for the professionals. We call them Tsiki and Mioritza. It is very technical there, and we will have also many spectators to watch the professionals doing very technical terrain. After that we go on the high mountains. The trails will be a bit faster, so the riders will be able to arrive Petrosani by daylight.
First checkpoint in Sadu, right 20 kilometers after Sibiu.
You know, it's fun today. It's pretty easy. Martin's taking it easy on us, so I like that. But from what I understand, right up here, there's near-death experiences, so we're really looking forward to that.
And with this speculation, the American Craig Godfrey, well known as producer of the Travis Pastrana videos, could be right. Over the full day, the riders get both easy trails and hot and bothered on tough, hard tracks. Easy passages followed by sections where even professionals sometimes leave their bikes rather unwillingly. By far, the quad and ATV track is the easiest, and for sure extreme climbing sections are not part of these. No presents are made to the quad drivers either. Each finish has to be hardly fought over. The last day's rain has properly washed out the road, and therefore teamwork is required in order to be able to progress.
Es sind halt diese 10 Meter hier, ne? Die machen mich kaputt. Aber sonst schon schön.
Is the opinion of Jens Zimmermann, who, together with his partner Niki Neubert, copes best with the difficulties of the course and is able to maintain the lead up to the finish. The rain has caused damages to the motorcycle course also. Some paths already negotiated even by Enduro beginners become all of a sudden nearly unmanageable alone. Levi Levella, the American X Games snowmobile champion, helps Craig Godfrey out of a sheer hopeless situation. Large sections of today's stage exceed the upper tree line and are located at an altitude of 1,800 to 2,200 meters. The daily vertical height difference of about 20,000 meters is being achieved because of the fact that today's course is continuing ascents and descents. Giovanni Sala, the quintuple Enduro world champion and triple 6 days winner, leads the pack. Michel Gau, however, sticks closely to his heels. Gau was able to make up time, especially in the more difficult sections, thanks to his past trials experience. Now that the favorite Cyril Deprez is no longer in the competition, a battle for a place on the podium seems to become distinguishable between the veteran star Sala, the newcomer Gau, the ski professional and Olympic Games participant Antor, as well as the two South Africans Curtis and van Niekerk. Also withdrawn from the competition is the American Baja California winner Andy Grieder, who has hurt his eye after a branch struck in the face as he was riding without goggles. Andy managed to continue riding a large section of the route only to be able to detect the pitfalls of the Red Bull Romaniacs for future participation in this event. He will not be able, though, to remain in the classification. Dominic Finish helps here his countryman Craig Stone on the notorious Ziki-Zaki trail, while the American Kevin Miller and his bike take a header. Sala and Gau finished together in the mining city of Petrosani.
C'était une journée assez dure, c'est vrai que ça fait des bonnes journées de moto. C'est assez physique, il n'y avait rien de très dur aujourd'hui, mais que du petit sentier qui use. Et c'est vrai qu'à la fin c'est plus la tête qui roule que les bras.
On the fourth stage, from Petrosani to Hermannstadt, we have shortened the racetrack for about 20 kilometers, as yesterday's stage was longer than expected. But still, climbing up the Vulcan mountains for about 3 times will be quite hard. After that, it gets more easy, the hills get lower, and the riders will go towards the Danube River. There it will get hotter, as they are facing Mediterranean climate.
The starting point of the experts represents a checkpoint for the professionals. The professionals have already completed 2 hours driving and many kilometers. On those sections where the race course comes in touch with the people, the Romanian police provides energetic assistance in order to avoid any collisions. Today, on the 4th off-road race day, there remains 80% of the racers who started in Bucharest. Among the expert teams, it has become obvious that the skill level of the Romanian Enduro racers is ever increasing. Among the top 5 there are 3 teams from Romania. Leading by a small margin are the 2 Romanian national champions Emanuel Vienes and Laszlo Ola. They had already taken a place on the podium in the first 2 Red Bull Romaniacs, and their target for 2008 is to start in the professional class. François Villiers and Romeo Danca, who has also brought along some Romaniacs experience from last year, are 20 minutes behind their countrymen. Danca, the successful businessman from Timișoara, has the reputation for achieving his goals set with respect to sports. His goal for the 2006 edition of the Red Bull Romaniacs is a 3rd place. Looked at in that light, everything goes according to plan. Fighting on the 3rd place, however, already 2 hours behind, is Team Matek from Austria with Thomas Felbel and the Enduro Europe champion Lisi Mucha. Lisi came in 2nd last year already, however with a different team partner then. Placed 4th in the competition, the boys from the Kovalak team have switched sides. At the first 2 editions of the hard enduro rally of the Red Bull Romaniacs, they took part in the organization. 2 minutes behind them and closely on their heels is the German Enduro Austria team. A great deal has been also demanded of the numerous motorized representatives of the media, like photographers, cameramen and journalists, and they have also bravely mastered the entire course. The leading racers have already driven past the Danube. However, there is hardly a driver involved in the fight for a top position who takes his time to take a glance from the race course towards Serbia. The next stage finish, Beile Herculane, the Path of Hercules, is not far away, except very far for the hobby racer Niki Schönborn, who has to negotiate the 20 kilometers long section by foot. Beile Herculane is a health resort with hot springs already used by the Romans for their recreation. With 700 kilometers done, the event reaches its half-time in Beile Herculane and most of the participants need recreation. The ladies' team is one of the last teams to reach the finish line shortly after 19 hours.
Well, it was not so hard day. In any case, for me it was quite difficult because I'm 20 minutes behind Gau, and so it's difficult to take him, and I don't take some risk because maybe it's too much, and so I want to ride for fun and enjoy the race.
On the 5th day from Beile Herculane to Petrosani, the riders will go on fast field trails in the morning for about 3 hours and then start to climb up on a very high mountains. It will be very difficult up there, very rocky and also very long. There is 280 kilometers to manage, and I'm quite sure that it will get dark for some of the riders.
Anyhow, in the morning it was dark for all, as the start took place already at 6 o'clock. His vast repertoire of Italian cusses is delivered generously by the otherwise cordial Giovanni Sala.
Più puttana di questa moto. Vaffanculo.
The Sly Fox had managed, shortly before this section, to smuggle himself past Gau, the leader, and would naturally have gladly tried to gain a greater lead over him in order to be able to have some say with respect to the victory. Sala is at this point already 35 minutes behind Gau. Even if Sala had not been penalized for not stopping at the checkpoint, he would still be behind Gau now. The professional skier Alex Antor, coming from Andorra, proves to also be an outstanding technician, but he's already 55 minutes behind Gau. Nevertheless, he's fully satisfied with his position. This river is neither deep nor really powerful. Nevertheless, it proves difficult to be crossed. The reason is the big, round and slippery stones, which may damage the front wheel or allow the rear wheel to skid. Organizer Fernanda Metz also is said to have gone swimming in this river as he was searching for a route. The rescue helicopter returns from its only mission during this year's event. Ulrich Denzer from Team Enduro Romania is leading, up to his fall, the hobby classification. During the summer months, from the end of May until early in September, there are thousands of flocks of sheep on the hills of Romania, wandering throughout the country with their shepherds, called Cioban in Romanian. The day won't end. Over and over again, an ascent is followed by a pithy descent. Thank God the weather is nice, or else there would be some serious challenges. The hobby class route is 40% shorter and easier, the experts ride 30% shorter than the professionals. Nobody complains about too little enduro racing on this particular day. Michel Gau finishes first in Petrosani.
Au général, j'avais à peu près 35 minutes d'avance sur Joe. Donc aujourd'hui, j'ai roulé quand même assez cool. J'ai quasiment roulé tout le temps tout seul. Et bon, je vois qu'il est pas encore là, donc je reprends un petit peu du temps encore. Donc je gère un petit peu la course et tout se passe très bien.
Die Strecke war sehr schwer und super lang. Wir haben hier gehabt, ich schaue gerade auf den Tacho, 280 Kilometer fast. Das war Start war 6 Uhr, jetzt haben wir 19:50 Uhr, also fast 12 Stunden, 14 Stunden Fahrzeit. Ich bin fertig.
Today was one of the hardest days I've had in my life. I've never ridden 11 hours for 280 k's, and it's just unbelievable. I had Darryl and the Frenchman following me the whole day, just going through the bushes, see what my nose looked like, window bashing the whole day, and yeah, it was pretty hard. I hope tomorrow is a bit easier because my body is a bit tired, and one more day and then we're finished.
Also mein größter Wunsch im Moment war, eine Nacht durchschlafen und in der Früh mit meinen Kindern im Bett aufwachen. Das hat mir gefallen. Aber nächste Woche ist es sicher soweit.
Wie fühlt man sich jetzt, wenn man so knapp vor dem Schluss von der Rallye steht?
Gleich wie am Anfang. Ich fühle mich erst anders, wenn der Letzte beim Final Showdown gesund ins Ziel gekommen ist. Dann fühle ich mich anders. Ansonsten fühle ich mich ganz gleich vom ersten Tag bis zum letzten.
The motorcycles are being repaired and set up each night, often until after midnight. Those who afford a mechanic may go to sleep now. Those who have to work themselves have to manage with the net.
On the last off-road day from Petrosani to Sibiu, we can see that the riders are already quite tired, but so are we from the organization. The race starts with a steep uphill, something like Erzberg. Then there's a deep river to cross. After that, there are donkey trails with big stones going up on the very high mountains. From there on it goes slightly down towards Sibiu. There's another very slippery river to go down, and after that the riders will arrive into Sibiu.
In spite of the steep climbings, as the one at the notorious Erzberg, no unpleasant events happen here. For one thing, because there is no mass start at the Red Bull Romaniacs. For another thing, those who have survived the last 5 days are technically capable to manage these climbings. No farther than 5 minutes outside Petrosani, there are these wonderful Enduro hills. Currently, there are very few local Enduro racers in this region because of the fact that the unemployed miners lack the financial means. Giovanni Sala has no problems with this climbing, although he is obstructed in the approach. The gap to the leading Gau has increased in the meantime notably, but at the same time he has managed to extend his advantage over Antor. It is clear now in Sala's mind that he will not be able to catch up with Gau. The only chance would be a technical defect or an injury of the friendly and calm Frenchman. Cyril Desprez travels with his mechanical staff's car to Petrosani only to be able to be at his friends Gau and Antor's side. Darryl Curtis is, especially on the fast sections, in a class of his own. because of the fact that in his home country of South Africa, the majority of the races take place on fast roads through sugarcane plantation. He is accustomed to high speeds and full throttle drifts. There where Darryl is, his friend Riaan van Niekerk will surely also appear before long. And there comes Riaan already, but in this case his front wheel gets stuck in a deeper spot and he goes plunging down. As the helicopter does nothing to sweeten the wet situation, Darryl comes quickly to his aid. Michel Gau finds a better line and Sala is able to cross the deep brown river just as well. Alex Antor chooses another line. He crosses the river by riding downstream. The water seems to be a little deeper here, but his tactics work out well. Now, the middle of the field of the professionals class comes in, presumably at the site of his South African fellow countrymen who are currently dewatering. The leader of this group, Craig Stone, considers the risk of crossing the river on this spot too high and therefore decides to push. They make slow progress but are on the safe side. Anyhow, the leading trio have the driest feet.
The most unbelievable race I've ever ridden in my whole life. I mean, you cannot explain this to somebody. You cannot show. If I go back to South Africa, there's nothing I can show them there that'll say, hey, that's like Red Bull Romaniacs, because it's not. The only place where you'll find it is here, and it's just incredible.
The street has to be crossed at Petrilla before climbing the hills, and there are more than 100 kilometers before the racers come in touch with some kind of civilization again. The way out of the populated region is between gardens, normally used by the local farmers to lead their cows or to walk or ride their horses in order to carry out their business. The toughest reporters also have to struggle in various sections of the course. Michel Gau has already reached the tree line and races now fast on narrow winding sheep trail. For Gau, it is now very important to take no risk and to protect his lead until Sibiu. The second last descent before the finish in Sibiu does not give all racers pleasure.
Red Bull gives you wings!
Water is to be found at frequent intervals in Romania. The radiators, as well as the racers, need it very often. At each pit stop, distributed at an interval of about 50 kilometers along the course, there is potable water from the bottle and Red Bull energy, of course.
This is nothing compared to going up this hill. Going up that hill was pure hell. I'm just talking on the camera. It was the gnarliest thing, like just pooped all of us out. So we're just running on nothing right now, just out of fuel, but physically.
The last kilometers on the course to Sibiu are set on cartways and gentle hills, but no one puts the pedal to the metal anymore. The power and the concentration fade after 6 days of racing, and most positions cannot be changed anymore. The up to the 5th day leading hobby team Enduro Romania 1 lost its lead to the following Romanian team Condor after a crash. The team Enduro Romania Switzerland has edged their way in the meantime to the 2nd position, but lost it all on the last stage due to a 10 hours penalty for not reached checkpoints.
Ja, heute war schön. Heute war eine richtig geile Urlaubstour. Nachdem wir gestern den Unfall hatten und nicht fahren konnten, waren wir heute natürlich frisch motiviert. Ja. Herrlich.
So it was a hard race.
Sure. That was a long day. About to put a bit of a sting in the tail for everybody. There's a nice little uphill just back there, and saw us pushing up the mountain, but it was good. Short day, but it was okay.
Gratulation.
Danke.
Respekt.
Ja.
Ein guter Tag. Trotz Kilo. Sehr schön.
Seht mal ein bisschen. Wie war's jetzt?
Sehr ereignisreich.
Ja, ein bisschen schwierig war es.
Ja, ein bisschen zum Schieben und Ziehen heute noch gewesen.
Ja, was sonst?
GPS haben wir noch die Antenne abgebrochen.
Ja.
Aber sonst haben wir soweit.
Weil eigentlich alles funktioniert und war super. Anstrengender Tag.
once you reach the finish in Sibiu, the rally is over, is wrong. Andy has built a very technical race course right in the center of Sibiu. It is not a bit easier than the technical stages out there in the mountains. It will be a suburban battle in the houses. Check it out. It's going to be very funny.
Sibiu is the origin of the in-city enduro races. Andy and his motorcycle club Crazy Bike has set up during one night a demanding course for the epilogue. Each class rides separately. Too many drivers of different levels could cause traffic congestion due to the narrow obstacles. Gau shows in an impressive manner how to deal with the tree logs at high speed, provided that one is able to control the technique. Thomas Felb is not able to find in the firewood chest the ideal line. Darryl Curtis gives again everything he's got. Sala in the firewood chest over the longitudinal set tree logs and the tree log spelicans. Gau at the corner, proving that he's going to win the race with justification. His advantage has increased in the meantime so much that he won't be able to be beaten even with a failure. Sala at the Austrian airline wall ride. This obstacle appears to be extremely dangerous, but is in fact very easier than it looks. The first attempt to admit quad racers at the Red Bull Romaniacs was enlightening for the organizers, whose know-how was dedicated entirely to the sport on two wheels. For 2007, however, there will again be a four-wheel vehicle class, but only the ATV, four-wheel drive quads, shall be accepted at the start. The four-wheel vehicles were by all means a positive enrichment for the audience. Again, the boys from the Neubert Racing Team 1 show also in the epilogue that they fully master their equipment. That is why Neubert Racing Team finishes first in front of Desert Team Potmis and Africa Team Milonas from Greece. From the wall ride via a short straight to the Ursus Beer Bridge obstacle into the 5-store bare brickwork. Sala is first into the building, closely followed by Gau. Another round on the sun deck via the second staircase, again all 5 floors downwards. Thomas Felbe gains the top at the expert class. His partner Lisi Mucha needs some help at the stairs. Sala is but few meters ahead of Gau. Antor at the freestyle ramp with a jump into the first floor. Gau jumps skillfully up. Müller wants to accelerate on the first ramp, gets too little grip and lands with the engine block on the concrete. Fortunately, nothing happens to him. Again, for each difficult obstacle there's a chicken run, an easier but longer way. The freestyle ramp may be bypassed via this climbing in order to get to the first floor. A certain basic speed is nevertheless also required. Michel Gau from Austria jumps skillfully over the ramp thanks to his past motocross experience. Gau managed to overtake Sala in the meantime and wins also the final showdown. Sala comes in second. Darryl Curtis is third. Enduro Austria team is able to relegate the Romanians from Monteverde 1, who were up to then placed in the second position, to the third place due to another victory. The winners, KTM Romania, followed by Enduro Austria, and on the third spot, Monteverde 1. Team Condor wins the hobby class in front of Team Chiki and Enduro Romania 1. Nothing changes in the professional class, Gau before Sala and Antor.
War ein ziemlich cooles Rennen, wir haben ziemlich viel Spaß gehabt, es hat unheimlich wunderschöne Landschaften gegeben, wir haben ziemlich tolle Natur gesehen, haben wirklich tolle Tage gehabt, es war ein geniales Rennen.
Top-10-Platzierung war mein kleines Ziel, habe ich getoppt mit Platz 6, also ich bin absolut happy. War eine klasse Woche, war richtig schwer. Deutlich schwerer als letztes Jahr, nachdem wir wesentlich mehr Fahrtage hatten. Letztes Jahr ist es ja durch diesen Regen einen Tag weniger gewesen. Also ich bin absolut happy, verletzungsfrei, ohne große Schmerzen hier im Ziel zu stehen. Klar, tun mir alle Knochen weh, aber das gehört halt nur dazu.
Yeah, it's all over now. Now we can go to sleep. So I think we're all really tired now, 7 hard days, and it's time to rest now. Drink some beer tonight, party, Romanian style.
The race is finished, was good because was 6 days very hard. We find some different problem, like enduro, very extremely. Today was just for fun. Maybe the public was the best way in this kind of special test. So I want to thank all the public supporting me and thank you very much for the organizer about this.
Non, ça s'est très bien passé. Il n'y a pas eu de problème mécanique. Tout s'est bien passé. J'ai pu gérer la course, j'avais un petit peu d'avance, donc Très content d'être venu ici, d'avoir participé à cette course. Et je remercie un petit peu tous mes partenaires, c'est grâce à eux que je suis venu ici. Et je pense que je reviendrai l'an prochain avec grand plaisir.
Inscribe for the next Red Bull Romaniacs at www.redbullromaniacs.com.
Country dressed up in another's colours, just a faded lonely life.